So we have approximately 10 inches of snow. I think Central Park measured 9.5, so it's
Okay.
not as bad. And I think 20 2016, I believe, was much worse than what we have now. However, we're unlucky with the freezing weather, which makes it nearly impossible to remove the snow. However, Ted, I like to always like to mention I'm from the Soviet Union. I'm from, when we're comparing something we're talking about like socialism taking over New York, but now I can say I'm from the northern country. I'm from the north, so
Yep.
I know exactly how the snow was treated there. And
Mm.
I did a post after I saw that the city is completely failed to. Yes, they plowed the roads, but they failed to remove the snow from the intersections, from the bus stops. So I posted a short video showing, and I was in the city. I was in Manhattan for the Holocaust Remembrance Day at the UN, and I was pretty sure that Manhattan would be treated much better than the outer boroughs, but it wasn't. It was the same problem, and I did a little video and I stated that, Mr. Mayor, even during socialism, the snow was removed. I've been there. I know. I live there. I know.
Yeah,
So socialism doesn't mean that you don't have to remove the snow.
that's right. It still has
I
to be removed.
have
Yep.
to, yeah, I have to admit that Moscow did a great job removing it. I mean, listen, I understand the snow is not as often in New York City as in northern part of the world. But however, we have to be ready for it.
Yep.
We have to understand the consequences, and the major problem is with those intersections where pedestrians are trying to cross the street and they're unable to do so because it's just impossible. They have to wait on the actual road, which is a safety hazard, to cross the street. And we asked during the briefing with the city, we asked the question, why those intersections are not being cleaned by the sanitation. Ted, guess what the answer was?
What? What was that?
The answer was, because this is not our jurisdiction. The intersections should be cleaned by the businesses that are
Oh,
located on those
okay.
corners. So, and we're doing a great job giving them fines,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so imagine a multi-billion-dollar building, like an office building located in the city in Manhattan, which doesn't care much about that intersection, and perhaps they're thinking that this is DSNY's job to clean it,
Hmm.
because they cleaned everything around the building, right?
Hmm.
So DSNY blames them. They don't care about $150 fine. And by the way, the longer they do not, clean this intersection from snow, the more profitable it is for DSNY. So they can, just give them unlimited fines,
Unbelievable.
which doesn't make any sense, and which doesn't help people to cross the streets at the intersections.
I would think the intersections would be the responsibility of the city, of the government. That's why
I
we pay
believe
high
so.
taxes. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. No, especially, yeah, taking into consideration those taxes that we pay. So it's completely failed. And again, I just don't get it. Why the city buys, like, I don't know, 700 million tons of snow of salt. I apologize.
Hmm.
That's what they said. Pounds of salt, 700 million pounds of salt. That's what they said at the briefing.
Wow.
Like, why don't you use part of the salt to melt the snow at the actual intersections? Why
Right.
don't you use the snow to melt salt to melt the snow at the bus stops? And each agency is responsible for so there's no communication between those agencies, MTA, DSNY, DOT, these are like different countries,
Yeah.
different governments. They do not kind of communicate with each other what to do. So I think there should be more unity between the agencies so they can work effectively instead of blaming each other. Oh, that's not us. That's the SNY. That's not us. That's MTA. That's not us. That's DOT. Instead of blaming each other, they should make the life of New Yorkers easier during those unfortunate
Right.
extreme weather events. So yes, they all can do a much better job, and I've seen it done. And we've seen another issue, another problem, Ted, that the snow is not removed. It's actually being kind of moved to the sides of the street. People
Yeah.
cannot get their cars out of snow. Because of that, the streets cannot be cleaned. So
Wow.
you have to remove the snow. You have to remove the snow
Sure.
and discharge it I don't know, to the river, somewhere, somewhere out of the city. That's how it's done in northern countries. I understand that's how it's done in other countries. And there's something we can learn, perhaps from Canada, from our
Sure.
northern neighbor. Um, how to remove the snow, not just move it to the sides to clean the actual streets. It
Right.
doesn't help. It helps a
No.
little, but it doesn't help in the long run. But to actually remove the snow
Okay.
from the city. And this is, I think it's a complete failure of New York City administration in terms of removing the snow.
That is the bottom line. Let's say you mentioned Holocaust remembrance earlier at the top of the program. The UN trip you arranged for Holocaust survivors, you arranged for them to be able to attend the Holocaust remembrance ceremony at the UN. I think it was Tuesday of this week. Many of the attendees were mistreated by UN security personnel because they had the temerity to display the Israeli flag. What was your response to that?
So first of all, I'm extremely proud to bring Holocaust survivors from my district and a little beyond my district to the Holocaust Remembrance Day in the UN. We rented the whole like bus, 50 plus seats bus to bring them. And thank you so much to my office who was working on it, and especially to the Eastern European Eastern European Jews Association, a great organization that helped us to bring those Holocaust survivors to the UN. And yes, Ted, I wrote a letter. I wrote a formal letter to the UN security asking why people. This is United Nations. What's wrong with bringing a flag of your country to
Right.
that organization, to the United Nations? Like, are there any regulation prohibiting? So there are a number of questions, especially in regards to a grandson of a Holocaust survivor who was filming that situation in the security in that room where the security told what's her name? I'm trying to remember. She's a very popular blogger, very pro-Jewish, pro-Zionist. Oh, Lizzie Savitsky.
Okay.
So she had a jacket with the Israeli flag in the back, um, and I think nothing is wrong with it. So when security didn't let her in this jacket, one of the grandson of Holocaust survivors was trying to film this to just do a video on his phone.
Yeah.
Guess what? His phone was taken. The video was deleted. The video and pictures were deleted, and he wasn't let in the UN to be at the ceremony.
What would the justification for that be, I wonder? I mean, what would they say?
That's exactly my
Right.
question is why? What's wrong with it? So what's wrong with wearing a jacket with a flag of your country? What's wrong
Right.
with that at the United Nations? This is again United nations,
The whole idea,
the
the
nation, the whole idea,
brotherhood
right?
of man.
Nations
Yeah.
that are united.
Did you
And
get any
what's wrong
response?
with filming that on camera? Is it banned? Is it prohibited?
Right.
And um, why he wasn't welcomed to the ceremony? Okay, he filmed it. You deleted it. What next? Like, why
Right.
don't let him do his business? So this is very concerning, and I wrote the letter to the Security Department of the United Nations. We're still waiting for the response. I'll share it with you. I'll share it with my constituents. But it is interesting that yesterday I received a private message via Facebook because I shared this letter on my Facebook page from someone. I can't call their names because just to protect them, from
Mhm.
someone who used to work in the UN, and they said that I think this person, I don't even want to say if it's he or she. This person worked there, I think, for 20 years,
Wow.
and this person stated that um, anti-Semitism is a huge issue in the UN, and including UN's administration, including UN security personnel.
Mm.
Believe it or not. And one of my constituents, Stephanie Ben Shimol, she had a Israeli flag in her purse, in her bag. She chatted with one of the security guys, and again, it's unofficial, it's unproven because there's no recording of it. But what she said was like, he told her, if you would have a Palestinian flag, you won't be having any issues.
That is, that speaks for itself. I mean, what can
So
you
I'm
say?
I'm working with that person now. We will we I want to connect her with journalists, so he or she can privately share you
Right.
know her or his experience working at the UN and feeling that anti-Semitic atmosphere
Yeah.
there. I think this is it's unacceptable. Again, this is
Yeah.
United Nations.
Right.
It's completely unacceptable.
That
And
information needs.
I'll be on it. I'll be on it. Trust me. I do not have authority over UN, as you understand,
Yeah.
but UN is located in our state.
In
It's
New
in New
York
York
City.
State. It's in New York
Yep.
City. So I'll be on it, and I'll continue to. I'm very consistent, and
That's
in
right.
those cases, I'll try to get all the answers, and I'll keep my constituents
I,
posted, and you posted that.
I look forward to that because the American taxpayers fund about a quarter of the UN budget,
Oh
so
yeah,
we have a doggy in that game.
yes.
Let's this is kind of ties into that. There was a guy arrested Wednesday of this week. He deliberately rammed his car through the doors of the World Shabbat headquarters in Brooklyn, and I'll let you respond to that. And I got a follow up about the mayor.
So Chabad Lubavitch is a huge Jewish movement all over the world, and this is a historic